statement you'd like to read?
Yes. Thank you, Judge Medina, for giving us a breath. And I do want to say, I especially feel that you were very patient with me as I was trying to bring in Francis Boyle. So thank you. And I learned from some of my co-defendants about some of the things that I did, like doing me a favor. So I apologize for my unknowing how to proceed. I do feel, well, I do want to bring in the voice of the victim that I cut short on the story the other night. So I'll just start by saying, on the eve of that first trial back in 2011, the drone strike that killed, well, there was a drone strike in Pakistan that killed 16-year-old Tariq Aziz and his 13-year-old cousin as they drove to the soccer game. And I want to just share a little bit that Tariq was loved by many as a brother and as a cousin, as a friend and also as a son. And he was the best defender on the soccer team. He had just returned home from a huge publicly announced open gathering called a Jirga. It was like a huge conference about drones in the capital city of Islamabad, meeting hundreds of people, and with internationals, with the press, with community members who were outraged that U.S. drone strikes had killed their families. And Tariq's cousin, Asma Ullah, had been killed also in a drone strike. So Tariq came to this gathering in Islamabad because he wanted to help in a simple way. He wanted to try to stop the killing by taking a camera and taking the photos of the drones that were flying over his village, and then downloading the photos, and then somehow documenting what was going on, to document the war crimes. And because of this, he was targeted and murdered by the drone, as I said the other day. So the Hellfire missile that assassinated him burned both his body and the body of his cousin, and it was almost unrecognizable. So at Tariq's funeral, his brother said, "Oh God, what has happened to us? There's no happiness, no gatherings, not even soccer. Happiness has disappeared along with Tariq, and we are mentally tormented. And because of drones, innocent people die. And we have a saying, let me be buried with your photo, so that I can't forget you in heaven." So looking at the patterns of drone strikes in Pakistan, Cora Courier of ProPublica states that the U.S. has no capture policy for drones, of people, denying people any due process when the drones are used instead. And there have been, as you heard in this book before, 3,000 to 4,000 people that have been killed by drones, not just in Afghanistan, but in other countries, and only a handful have been captured. So according to British attorney Clive Stafford-Smith, the legal director of the human rights group Reprieve, who was with Tariq at the gathering in Islamabad, he said, it was obvious that Tariq was not a terrorist or an extremist. He was somebody who was traumatized by drones. A very intelligent high school boy with a great sense of humor, someone who loved playing soccer with his friends. And you can watch this, and you can see Tariq playing soccer, and I shared with you that watching the film Unmanned, America's Drone Wars, and I think you can give him a copy. I would pray that you do take some time to look at that film, and you'll get a better sense of why we have all been here and will continue to be here. So they say that there's no intelligence on the ground. This is Clive Stafford-Smith saying there's no intelligence on the ground to find out who's the terrorist, and you rely on local people, and they're working for money. So in the case of Tariq, you know without any dispute that there was a U.S. intelligence paid informant in the room, at the gathering who picked out Tar to be targeted. And the way you know what intelligence the government relied on, to target him was by what they reported in the news. They said 4 militants were killed and 2 boys were killed. And Tar was one of them. So, as I had said before, killing him, killing Tarek, and also his cousin has not made us any safer. Thank you.